Oh, that's perfect.
Was it perfect because I was out of the frame?
Yeah, it's actually nice. That's great framing right there.
It's amazing how you. Yeah, I was actually adjusting it so you'd be more in the frame, because I don't want anyone to, miss any part of your body, like your left shoulder. What are all those hearts?
I don't know what the hearts are about, or the thumbs ups is.
So Misha, why don't your
Oops.
Why don't your don't you have like co-stars? What are they like? Ginseng and Jordash? What?
Ginseng and Jordash. What about them?
Why don't they ever join you on these kind of outings? Well, they're from Texas.
They drive.
Need I say more?
They have to actually work today.
Jarvis and Jizwing?
Jarvis and Butthead have to work today, so they're unavailable.
Oh, they have a second job? Do they work at like CVS or something on the weekends?
Mm-hmm.
It's a weekday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We just stopped off. We got some food just now. We switched. Darius was driving, and we switched who was driving, because we realized that we're trying to make up for lost time right now, so we're driving a little bit quickly, and we realized that Darius has so many points on his license that if he gets pulled over, his license might be revoked. But I think I only have a couple of points on my license, so I can afford to get pulled over. Those of you who are members of the Ohio State Police, please disregard what I was just talking about. It's just a joke.
We're not going above the speed limit. We understand that sometimes.
We would never speed.
We also decided that getting pulled over, to be fair, would probably be a really good way to get acquainted with people, other people in Ohio that may or may not be at the little cafe.
Yep.
Where
more slice of life kind of.
Yeah. Perhaps even voting for Trump.
Yep.
I think it's safe to say.
Yep.
Potentially. Oh, what did we decide about the gun store?
Oh yeah, we were going to try to go.
Did we tell?
No, we didn't.
We got to figure that out.
We're going to try to figure out how we can go buy a gun.
I think the two things we want to do, other than serious campaigning and saving the world, is go off-roading and buy a gun today.
So we'll see if we can make that happen.
Because and to be clear, the Second Amendment stuff is a massive part of this whole discussion.
Will you read some of these?
Oh yeah. Melissa, you're using your phone for evil. Oh, come on. So precious. You know what I don't need to do is read all of them. What I'll do is I'll choose one to read.
Yep.
So you talk and I'll look them over.
Darius and I have gone on a lot of different road trips over the course of our life. We just found, we were just in Darius's apartment in Brooklyn, New York, and came across a license plate from Maine.
Oh yeah. Do you have that picture?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
we should post that picture
right now. But we took a picture of the license plate because that license plate. Should we tell that story?
Well, we could really.
It's kind of long.
It's long. But we took a bike trip from Massachusetts up to Maine, which was it like 800 miles or
Let's
was it?
Let's
round it
up.
up.
It was a bicycle trip, and it was.
Hi from Maine. Look at that. Heidi Lynch.
It was about 2,500 miles, we'll say.
So we rode to see Heidi, who was probably not born at that time, in Maine, and we were riding for a purpose. We were actually riding. We
were raising money for the summer camp that we. Remember?
We were raising money for the summer camp.
But then as we were riding, for some reason, we were telling people we were riding for the Rhino.
No. Well,
that was because the guy was threatening to shoot us. That's complicated.
This guy saw us wrestling in his neighbor's yard. We were two men in spandex wrestling in a yard. What we would do, we got flat tires at the same time, and we needed to change our tires. So we stopped at a guy's house. We went and got water from the spigot outside the house, the faucet, and then we wrestled, which is often what we did
to pass the time.
So I'd kick his ass, and then we would get back on our bikes.
That's a bit of a revisionist history, but
I mean with an ass. And then we kept riding, and a guy in a truck came by, with a rifle in the back of the truck, and he passed us by. The Maine accent is pretty. For all those Mainers out there, you know what I'm talking. He rode by and he said something to the effect of, "I just got it wrong," and we didn't really. He pulled up very aggressively in front of us, came out and said, "What the hell are you doing in my neighbor's yard?" Right? But he said it a little bit like this: "What the hell are you doing in my neighbor's yard?"
Yeah.
And then his neighbor pulled up behind us,
Yeah.
And he had a gun in his truck.
Yeah.
And he said, "That's my neighbor." And the neighbor said, "What the hell are you doing in my yard?" And we, of course, responded accurately that we were wrestling.
He said, "Yeah, we're gonna get you. That's a good way to get a bag full of buckshot."
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Bag full of buckshot.
Bag full of buckshot.
So that was basically, he was being very clear to us. Now, this is, by the way, we're not just talking randomly about this. This is all related to a Second Amendment issue that is directly related to this incredibly important election.
So immediately when he threatened to shoot us, Darius said, "Oh, well, we're riding for the rhino. We're collecting donations to save the black rhino. Would you like to play?"
We're a program out of Africa. Now, you have bags on the side of your bike. We have panniers.
Would you like to pledge to make a contribution to our ride?
Remember, I started pulling out all the underwear and everything out of the bag.
I've got some papers.
And all we need to know from you is what your social security number is.
And the guys just immediately drove away. They did not want to have anything to do with making a donation to our fictitious cause.
And we were like, wait.
We were not riding for the rhino. And it was actually really
it was an effective. It was a keto. It was basically like it was mental like keto. Yes.
Yeah.
What we used the rhino to protect us, which is kind of amazing. It's symbolic.
Yeah.
I guess. So here we are on another
moral.
We found. We didn't get to the point.
So we had this license plate. So the license plate.
No, you didn't get to that.
I'm trying to weave us back into the story.
Okay.
So we got to the end of our bike ride, which we were very proud of ourselves. We had ridden all the way to Maine, but it was exhausting. And we had originally planned to ride back, but it turned out once we got to Maine that we really wanted just to drive home. We did not have enough money for bus tickets to get back, and we thought with our bikes and our bags, it was going to be pretty challenging to hitchhike.
To be fair, you know what? It's misleading because they say, "Oh, go take a bike ride up to Maine," because it's north. So we go up to Maine, and there's this idea that coming back should be down. Doesn't actually work that way. You don't just coast home. It's uphill both ways, which is totally misleading. Yeah, so we couldn't ride back because we weren't strong enough.
That's basically a fair assessment. And we're sitting in a laundromat commiserating about how we're going to get home. We didn't have enough money for a bus ticket. We didn't feel like people were going to pick us up hitchhiking because we were too unappealing in a lot of different respects.
And also, to be fair,
hitchhiking
takes effort.
Yeah. And this guy overheard us talking and said, "Well, you guys, I don't know. I'm not sure that you'd be interested, but I got a car parked in my. I'm from Boston.
Well, there's a connection with the Mainers.
Yeah.
You're looking for a car.
Yeah.
They say here's an expression, and Mainers, you can chime in here. Son of a haw. Son of a haw comes up.
Yep.
Son of a haw. Son of a haw. Some people say son of a bitch in other parts of the world, but here you say son of a haw.
Yeah. So we walked with this guy back to his house, and he, long story short, said, "You can have this car that's parked in my driveway. The only problem is there's these mices that are nesting and he used the term mices."
When he said mices, he got little tears in his eyes.
And so we had to move this nest of mice, baby mice and parent mice, into a shoebox. And then we drove away in this Pontiac T1000. Google it if you have a chance because it's a really beautiful car.
How do you remember? You remember the make of the car?
It was a hatchback.
It was a great car.
From about 1980, and it was the biggest.
Brown.
Yeah, it was a beauty. Unfortunately, somebody had clipped a bunch of the exhaust pipes coming out of the manifold. The exhaust was coming into the heating vents, directly into the heating vents. So as we were driving, we immediately started to get nauseous, like we were going to throw up. Also, it had broken tie rods, which means that when you run the engine, it would go, but it sounded like a machine gun. It literally sounded like a machine gun.
As I recall, it increasingly sounded worse.
Loud.
Every mile it would get louder.
And the exhaust was killing us. So we unrolled the windows, then we opened the hatchback, and we were still feeling nauseous. Like the carbon monoxide was overcoming us, and we were really feeling sick. So we stopped at a hardware store. We went in, we borrowed a cold chisel and a hammer, and we chiseled off the roof of the Pontiac T1000.
Sometimes you have to cut off the roof of the car in order to get where you're going.
And then we sat with the hatchback open, the windows unrolled, and then we sat on our sleeping bags so our heads were up above the windshield.
Like the Flintstones.
And we drove on like that. And then at the base of Gorham Hill, I can't believe I remember
our objective was we had one thing we wanted to accomplish, which was to get over the Gorham Pass, because it's such a real man could bike over it. We had pretended to be real man on the way there, and we had biked over it, and it was hard.
It was nearly
hard.
Killed us.
It was actually hard because it's really uphill. So we wanted to get over that pass. That was before the car died. And go on.
Yeah, so we luckily, right as we were pulling up to the sort of base of Gorham Mountain, there was a sudden large popping sound, and the whole car, remember the steam and the smoke that filled the cabin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The
Actually,
radiator,
if you've never seen a dashboard melt,
it was amazing.
You're really...
Anyway, we ended up pushing the car onto a golf course and taking off the license plate so that the guy that had given us the car wouldn't get in trouble for abandoning the car.
And this was exactly half a mile
from the
mountain that we didn't want to
really
bike
wanted
up.
to drive over. So we had to ride up the mountain. Luckily, we had a good way of saving face with this whole thing, which is that we called my mother, and she eventually came and picked us up not far away.
No, we rode 100 miles.
We had to go 100 miles. So we found that license plate. It was such a memory. This was 24 years ago that we were on that bike ride.
We actually saw the license plate this morning.
Yeah.
We still have.
So it's memory lane.
And here we are on another road trip, which feels altogether
it's not as
plush.
Yeah, it's not as challenging.
Which is why we wanted to go off-roading at some point, just to kind of... But, it feels plugged, but it still feels dangerous due to the fact that we have a sociopathic maniac trying to take over our country, and that's actually the mission we're on, which is, frankly, a greater mission than I think our mission was before, which was to eat as many pancakes as we could as we worked our way across Maine. Oh, no, we were there was a summer camp.
That's right.
We were actually starting a summer camp, one New England state at a time. All right. So listen, I'm trying to read some questions here. Welcome you to Daytona. I'm so close, but I'm so far. Yeah, I'm still waiting for a good question.
Anybody have any questions for Darius? Since it's
you have time to off-road. You know, as the expression goes, you got to make time to off-road. Hi from an English person living in Sweden. Safe drive, appreciate that. Dorato Rona. Kayla Koe, Misha, back to Brazil, I miss you. The backstory. Sarah Holmes, eyes on the road. Let's see, Misha, please say Holly loves Melissa, Holly Carter.
Holly loves Melissa, Holly Carter.
No, the Holly Carter I added just to say that was her name. That's fair. Hey from Germany, how are you? Okay, let's just try to get something specific maybe to this election. Oh yeah, Sarah says, hey Darius, you're awesome. I gotta say.
That feels, you don't have a lot of data points right now, so maybe
Sarah, I think that what you did is you really, you found your way to the heart of the issue.
That rash, impulsive kind of statement that really is hurting our political
You found your way to the heart, and frankly, I don't think we'd be getting that kind of feedback if Jiswich and Jailsome were here. I voted early. Woot! Yeah, Carla, Michelle Barbara, or Michael Barbara. So Gary Shaw, hi Misha from Maine. We're getting some Mainers.
Yeah.
No, we're not from Maine, but we like you up there. Misha, drive safe. Appreciate that. Jennifer, how do you feel about Texas turning blue?
Love it.
Fucking A, man. That would be so crazy. Now, honestly, Texas turning blue is fascinating, and maybe Jolsum and Ginseng could let us know how they would feel about Texas, because they're both from Texas, right? Texas turning blue would be such a statement, and not so much even about Hillary, but about Trump.
No, I think Texas has it's gone blue in the not terribly distant past.
Not for a presidential election.
Yeah, I think so.
Hell no.
Yes.
Hell no.
Why don't we Google it?
Why don't we make a bet right now with something at stake? I could Google it. Misha's saying, just for the record, that in our history, in our recent history...
Well, how do you define recent history?
Hudson Street.
You got that?
Wait, we got
taking an exit. 112 towards Hudson. Saying in our recent history that Texas has voted Democratic. And what by recent... And by the way, Lyndon Johnson is actually a relative of mine, and I just think I should point that out. It's not necessarily, like, the most amazing thing, but it's pretty fucking amazing. Okay. All right, hold on.
Why don't you share with these people something about, our youth, shed some light on early childhood experience? Because you Googling something doesn't make very good television, Darius.
You're just you did that last time we streamed. You were Googling the whole fucking time, and you were wearing a Yankees hat. We're from Massachusetts. You don't wear a Yankees hat on a live stream. Are you kidding me? You don't fucking do that. You don't talk with this accent and wear a fucking Yankees hat, guy. Okay, boss? All right, chief. Okay. Will Texas be... Did we put anything at stake with this bet?
Yes.
Here's what I'm saying. Texas hasn't voted for a Democratic president within the last 30 years. Okay, is that fair? That's my guess.
Wait, I'm saying 30 years. Well, no, that's true. Because that is true. I think that's true.
In a half mile,
I would say in the last 50 years.
Half mile, Mish. That means you got to merge. You know, you hear that? That's Misha merging with a vengeance. Merge with a vengeance. Rated R.
Does anybody have any questions about our childhood? Because we're going to have to end this shortly. So you have a rare opportunity to speak with Darius about.
I have insights. I put it this way.
Am I getting off at Hudson?
I would get off there.
Well, you don't.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I got insights.
Merge onto Silver Drive, then turn right onto
Drive.
East Hudson Street.
You know what? I'm going to actually ask a different question. Has Texas
Oh my God,
ever
your voice control thing has not been working all
Turn
day
right onto
for
East
a
Hudson
Democratic
Street.
That's
presidential
definitely not going
nominee?
to work.
Yeah, well, not with you fucking talking. Well, I'm trying to talk to Google here. Jesus, and stop pumping the fucking brakes. Has Texas ever in
a quarter
working?
mile, continue straight to stay on East Hudson Street.
Oh, Lord.
You keep talking while I'm looking because I think it's important for people to know who wins this.
So I'm saying in the last 50 years, not 30 years. 30 years, you're right.
This bet is... so I'm already right. I don't even need to Google it. I won.
That's how you define the term recently.
You know what's amazing is I feel like we're wrestling in a yard again, and once again, I'm winning. Just saying. So, yeah, our childhood, what could we cover that we haven't covered?
We haven't really covered anything.
Have we not really gone there?
No. Where am I supposed to go?
Continue straight to stay on East Hudson Street.
There you go. What city is this? Because this isn't a city. It's like a tiny little town. Aren't we coming to a big city?
Wait, yeah, are we following the right instructions?
Well, what did you put into your phone?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe
In a half mile, turn left onto North High Street.
Let me just see. I'm going to check.
Is this taking us to Chipotle?
I'm gonna check where we are.
Okay.
And just see if we're actually in a city.
We could be.
Are we supposed to be in Columbus?
Yes.
Oh, you don't actually get phone service here either.
Well, that's not true.
Well. Okay, is this Columbus? We're in Old North Columbus.
Okay, that sounds close to Columbus.
Okay. So, yeah, we're in Old North.
Actually, speaking of bike rides, the last time I was in Columbus was when I was riding my bike
Turn
from
left onto
Boston
North High
to
Street.
Chicago.
Turn left here, Misha.
And the day that I rode through Ohio was the day that I logged the most miles of my life.
Are you trying to say you logged more miles?
I logged a lot more miles than you ever logged.
Well, that's not true, because I circled Ireland.
In one day?
Like a few days.
No, not true.
That's not true. But I did circle Ireland, and I think I logged more miles than you did in Ohio.
No, you actually didn't.
Remember when you tried to ride over the bridge and you got like 7 flat tires?
Yes.
Okay. Misha and I we were actually noting that we were having our conversation.
Your destination will be on the left.
When we weren't live streaming, quarter mile, Misha. When we weren't live streaming
I would love to stop and go.
Do you want me to hold a cup for you like we just did
before we go
miles back, or do you have to do, or is it a different? So we were actually having a very serious discussion, and we were talking about the divisiveness in this country and this election, and we were a little disappointed in ourselves. We realized if someone were eavesdropping on our conversation, they might be surprised at how serious it was.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I actually said that so you guys would actually think that we were having a serious conversation. We really weren't. We were talking about that. Okay. Is this where we're going?
Does that say
we're going to
live-
Mug and Brush?
Does
The
that say
Mug and Brush.
Live nude girls? What does that sign say?
Where? Which one?
I can't quite read it.
Which one?
Right up there.
No, that's
The
Hookah.
neon.
We have Hookah Rush. Oh yeah, live stuff.
What?
We also have the Mug and Brush, which is, I'm guessing you can get a cup of coffee and your hair brushed or your dog brushed. That might be what it is.
Guys.
Or that you could go in there and get your stuff stolen from you.
Guys.
And your teeth brushed.
Oh, get mugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, guys. We're gonna. I'm
Pick
gonna
this
go
up?
to the bathroom. We'll pick this up. We'll resume shortly.
Well, that could give live stream a new word, a new meaning. Okay.